Hello everyone, my name is Millie and welcome to The Performing Arts and Me. For those of you that don't know who I am, I have finished a drama school course, a foundation year at Bird College, and in September I will be starting at London Studio Centre on their theatre dance course, which is a 3-year degree course. And yeah, I make videos about drama school and my general life experiences and things to do with performing arts, so if you're interested, please do subscribe. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that you may want to consider when you're considering where to apply to go to drama school. Now, not everyone is necessarily going to want to go to drama school, and that's absolutely fine. But if you are looking at going to drama school, these are some of the things that I think you might want to think about when you're thinking about which ones to actually apply to. You might have other criteria and some of these things might not matter to you, which is absolutely fine. You might have extra things that you want to consider, which again is absolutely fine, but these are just some of the things that came to my mind when I sat down briefly and thought, what sort of things might people want to think about when they're considering where to apply? Because there are quite a few options in terms of where to train out there, and these are just some things that I thought might help you narrow down where you want to apply to, or broaden out where you want to apply to if you've only got a couple of options at the moment and you want to apply for more. I personally didn't necessarily consider all of these things myself when I was looking to apply both times. I think I did consider most of them the second time round, but not necessarily the first time round, and not necessarily all of them for both of them. But anyway, this is a list of things that I think you might want to consider when you're looking at where to apply, but you don't have to, and yeah, take it or leave it basically. I don't mind. But I'm going to start with the list now. So the first thing on my list was location. So that's several different things: distant from home, distance from facilities, and amenities that are like around the local area. Distance from home was a big one for me on both of them. I didn't want to be too far away from home. So yeah, but then I know that some people want to be further away from home and might not want to apply to a school because it's so close to their local area. So it could go either way, but something you might want to decide where you fit in the spectrum on that. Distance from facilities and amenities, that's more, I'm talking about like the location, like the area, because the likelihood is you'll be living in that area, studying in that area. So is it an area you'd be happy with? And is that something that's important to you? Also, kind of tied into that, I've got accommodation options. Does the school have student halls? Does it have, if you're like under 18, does it have the option of doing a host family? Or if you're over 18, does it have the option of having host families like in the local area? Do you have to get a house share? That kind of thing. Are there private student halls available instead of like university based ones or the drama school itself based ones? What are their accommodation options, and what do students in that area like to do or tend to do, and what would you want to do with that? My next thing on my list is the course itself. So the weighting of the different disciplines. Do you want to do a course that's more singing, acting? Do you want to do a course that's more dance? I'm talking about it from a musical theatre perspective here. But yeah, some courses may be more geared towards dance with singing and acting kind of supporting, some more singing and acting with dance kind of supporting, or maybe they even call it movement and it's less dancey. But yeah, kind of deciding where you want to be. Do you want to work on something that you're stronger at? Do you want to continue working on your strengths? Do you want to build up your weaknesses? Do you want to go triple threat? Like considering what is important to you and what do you want to get out of your 3 years of training. Also regarding the course, things like contact hours, how many hours a week are you in the studio or in lessons, the subjects and the lessons that they cover. So do you get voice classes? Do you get individual singing lessons? Do you get tap? Do you get point work if you particularly want to do point work? Things like that. Also, who's graduated from there recently? What have they gone on to do? Are they going on to do things that you would want to do? From like grads from this particular course, and also grads from the school, but I'll come on to the school later. That's in a separate section on my list. Is the course degree, diploma, foundation, certificate of higher education? I don't know what other courses there are, but that kind of thing. What level diploma is it? What age range do they take as well? What age are you, and would you be able to do that course? It might be worth emailing to check if you're not sure, or if you think there might be some kind of way that you might be able to do the course even though you're not the age that they've put on their website. Just email them and check if you've got like qualifications that they might not be expecting you to have. Don't know if that makes sense, but like say you were 17 and you'd done loads of exams and they only needed you to have a certain number of UCAS points, which you had, then it might be worth emailing them to see if you could do a degree, even though you weren't 18. I'm not sure about that, so check with them. And I will come back to my next points later because I need to go now. I'll be back in a bit. Hello, I'm back. It's actually the next day as I'm filming this next part, and my hair is wet because I've just washed it. So, carrying on with what I was saying, so just talked about the course. The next thing on my list is the school itself. So this is another point where you can look at what grads they have, maybe not from that specific course, but from the school itself, if that would be something that would be of interest to you. But I think actually it might be better to look at ones from your course, but sometimes I guess it might not say which course they came from, because I guess what you're looking for with grads is saying, are their grads doing things that I would want to be doing if I took the same like training as them. So it might be better to look at them from the course than from the school, but again, it might not say. Up to you on that, and you might not want to look at the grads at all. That's up to you again. Okay, the next thing on my list about the school is like student well-being. So what support systems do they have in place? Do they offer, if it's a dancing course, do they offer physio? Is it free? Do you have to pay for it? Do they offer what else? Nutritional support, counselling? Do they have mentors? Do they have tutors? Do they have all these different support mechanisms that a school might have in place? You could have a look at that. Another thing is thinking about the size of the school. Is it bigger? Is it smaller? Another thing is thinking about the reputation of the school. Is it a school that's more well known or less well known? Is it a school that's newer or older? Is it a school that's more well known for a particular thing, like a particular discipline or something? Or is it a school that's more well known for creating performers that do a certain type of performing, like lots of their performers go on cruise ships, for example, that kind of thing? And considering the reputation of the school in general, like in terms of positive and negative reports about it, if they have like an Ofsted report, I don't think many drama schools do have an Ofsted because they're like higher education, but some of the ones with younger sections might have an Ofsted report, I'm not sure, but looking at things like that. And also like any certification, like is it part of the CDMT, Council for Dance and Musical Theatre, or Drama and Musical Theatre, I'm not sure. Is it a part of that? If you're doing like a degree course, which uni accredits the degree, or does the school itself do it? I don't know if any of them do, but if the school itself does it, then that might be something to look at. What else? I think they have is it a TEF rating, Teaching Education Framework? I'm not sure. But I think you can get like gold and maybe other like silver. I don't know. I think TEF gold is a thing. But like different standards and regulating agencies and things like that, like see what it's got in terms of those. Another thing to consider would be the cost. So the cost of the course, how much is the course, and also would you be eligible for student finance? Would you be able to get a loan for it? What else to consider? Like extra costs, maybe some schools might list them, or you might be able to email to find out like how much would it cost for all the, like what kind of equipment you're going to need, that kind of thing. Also like costs of transport. If you're thinking of living closer to it, then you might be able to get there by foot, but if you're thinking you're going to have to get the bus every day, that's an extra cost to add on. And also cost of like living in that area, because like if you're living in London, it's likely to be more expensive than if you're living outside London. But then again, you might be able to get a higher student finance. Again, check all of this on government websites and things like that. But you might be able to get more of a loan if you're living in London. However, with the finance thing, like whether you'd be able to afford it, remember that some schools do have things like scholarships, bursaries, grants, all those kind of things. So rather than just looking at a course and thinking like, oh, I can't afford it, maybe consider whether you'd be able to afford to do the audition. And then if you got a place, maybe you could look at getting finance or bursaries from either the school or from charitable trusts or things like that. Also, I think some auditions are either free or you can apply to get a free audition. So again, that might be something you want to look at. Another thing to consider might be like the facilities that the school has. So I've already talked about like, is it a big or small school, but I meant in terms of students, but also in terms of like campus size. Does it have I don't know, does it have lots of dance studios? Does it have small singing rooms? I don't know what else you're looking for, like a gym. What else? A cafeteria, a library, things like that. Does it have those facilities? Theatre. Another thing to consider would be how many you can actually apply to. I'm talking about UCAS here. There is a limit on the number of places that you can apply to through UCAS. Well, currently, I don't know when you're watching this. If you're watching it way in the future, maybe there isn't. But for me, there was a limit on how many places I could apply to through UCAS. So I had to consider how many schools I wanted to apply to through UCAS and how many I would apply direct to the school and how many through UCAS conservatoires. There is also UCAS extra, and some schools might, I think some schools are okay with you applying to them directly and then applying, and then if you get a place, you can put it on your UCAS extra if you want to go there. But I'm not entirely sure how that works. So please check that with the school, ask if that would be something that would be possible. I didn't use UCAS Extra either year, so I don't really know how it works. But yeah, so if that's something you're considering, please check it with the schools and with UCAS and everything like that, because I don't really know. Yeah, check all of that. I am planning to make a video on applying to drama schools and like the different ways you can apply to drama schools, like in more detail. So if you'd be interested in that, please do leave me a comment. I just thought of another thing as well, like class sizes. That might be something you want to consider, and also faculty who teaches there, and also teaches at somewhere else. Sometimes staff members might teach at multiple schools. Okay, and that is it for this video. Like I said, this is not an exhaustive or extensive or even necessary list of things to consider, and different people might have different views as to what makes a good school. This video isn't saying that some things are good or some things are bad, so I would just recommend being open and maybe considering the answers to some of these questions if they are things that are important to you if you're choosing your schools. But yeah, I hope this has been helpful, giving you a list of things that you might want to consider. You might want to draw it all up in like an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, or a table on Word, just so you've got all the information in one place. Oh, another thing to consider might be, when I mentioned about cost, is audition fees or lack of. But as I said, I think there are some schools that have free auditions, some cases where you can apply to have a free audition. So again, might want to look at that. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video and that it's been helpful. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it a like to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, if you have found this helpful and want to hear more videos about drama school related things. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye!